Welcome back to another episode of our Message Recap, the show where we recap messages. Right, Kevin?
That's what we do.
Okay, good deal.
We expound, we recap, we...
Really, it's just an opportunity for us to talk more. And by us, I mean mainly Kevin.
Okay.
What do you do at Access Church? We give messages.
We
And
talk
then we
more
recap
about
'em.
messages.
And then we recap.
And we talk about the
a
same
message
thing.
is 30. Well, when I speak, it's 30. When he speaks, it's 37. 37 minutes long. Like, what can
Oh
you
my
say in
gosh.
37 minutes?
Show me one message of yours
Especially
that
when,
was 30
especially
minutes.
when 10 minutes of it is just, kind of like, let's,
I call it the 10 minutes of Shaheen's hypotheticals.
yeah.
That's what it is,
what
right?
if?
What
just
if maybe
trying to set
maybe
up-
you're here, maybe you're there. What if you were here? What if you were there?
The correct term
What
is
if-
called tension.
Yeah, all right. But building it, man, what is this guy going to talk about? Man, I am there right now. What is he talking about?
Yes.
I know
That's
somebody
it.
who does it worse.
Do you?
Yeah. AS is his is initials.
Anyway,
Not ASS. It's AS. What if his middle name's an S?
that would be funny.
Wow.
Okay.
Andy Steven Stanley. Is that his middle name?
Maybe.
I hope so now.
Love the guy to death. He just does that to the extreme.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyway.
Anyway.
We closed out a series called Stress Less,
Yep.
and everybody walked out of the building stressless.
They did?
All the stress was gone. We talked about stress for 4 weeks and how to combat it, and nobody is stressed
And we
anymore.
solved all of your problems. You're welcome.
Okay,
Jeez.
we're making fun of that. I believe with all of my heart, if people applied 4 thoughts,
Yeah.
actually, just 4 things
Yeah.
in our daily lives, there is no doubt, I would absolutely guarantee your life will be stressless. Absolutely. Stress less, not stress free.
Yep. Yep.
Well, this week,
I think so.
this
Definitely.
week it was about finding peace.
Yep. This is really the impetus behind the whole series when we planned it back last summer.
Hey, find
It
peace.
kind of took a different turn, with everything that's been going on, but
Yeah.
this was the one that kind of sparked this whole series and why we want to talk about it. These are mainly Philippians 4, I guess what I should reference.
Yeah.
Those verses right there are the key to peace, to stress less. And I mean, like you just said, if we do it, it works.
Yeah.
If we do it, it works. Maybe not instantaneously, although sometimes I think it does work instantaneously. So,
But your graph showed like when we have little stress, but we really practice or we partake or we seek God, we experience it. We do learn. It's cumulative.
Yeah.
It's easier to experience God when we're not like, I have to right now, I'm falling off the cliff. No, I'm too worried about hanging on. If we did practice that, which we generally don't, but we can change that today.
yep.
I'm going to start spending time with God and experiencing His presence. So then when stress does come, I am familiar. I know God. It's just instead of trying to do 2 things at once, I got to learn God and then experience His peace at the same time. And I get stress all over me. It's harder.
If you want to look at it a different way, just view spending time with God as building up your rainy day fund.
There you go.
So that when your rainy day does come,
You've got
you're not in sheer panic because
Yes.
you've spent time with God and you
Yeah.
have an established mindset
Yep.
that everything will be okay.
You already know about Him and His promises and what His presence is like, and yeah, for sure.
So
it's a good way to do it.
Spend time with God when things are
there's
good.
something you said first service that you didn't say second. Second service was better. Unfortunately, you guys are going to watch the first service, which was excellent. But
I felt better first service.
no, second service was more excellent.
Okay.
He said the same
sorry.
things.
No, he didn't.
What did I not say?
But he did.
What did I say second service that I forgot?
First service, you said that when I spend time with God, you said the word, I am reminded of He's in control. I am reminded. You kept saying reminded. And I thought, no, it's not reminded. It's not like, oh yeah, I remember God does this. Second service, you didn't say I'm reminded. You said that God brings, His presence brings. So there's a difference between being reminded of God's peace, Oh, I'm reminded God can bring peace, or experiencing God's
presented
peace.
with
Because
God's
you
peace.
said reminded, or every one of those things, I'm reminded of God. I'm reminded, and that's kind of the issue of Christianity being religious. That we're reminded of what God's all powerful. Oh yeah, I'm going to tell myself that. The difference, second service, you made it so clear, which I think is what Christianity is all about. The second service, you said that God's presence brings me peace. God's presence is powerful. Instead of being reminded of it. Small thing. I'm the only one who would have caught it.
I think it works for me both ways.
Yeah.
I think sometimes remembering that, okay, I feel like everything's out of control, but remembering that ultimately it's not. I mean, maybe it's just semantics. I don't know,
Maybe.
but interesting.
Yeah.
No. Sorry.
Now that we're talking about it, you did screw it up.
Yeah. Don't even watch the message.
Oh, hey, it's absolutely fantastic. It is Christianity. I like how you said, that if you've been around here a long time, you know, every message kind of ends with spend time with God, but that's kind of a Christian theme. Seeking the
Kind of
face.
what Jesus died
It's
for.
not wrong.
I think we use these terms, seeking the face of God, all of these like religious terms.
They can make it sound fancier.
They make it sound fancier, but really what it is spending time with God. And that's what Christianity is. That's what Jesus did. And I think you said it yesterday. You certainly alluded to it, that God doesn't give us a miracle. He is the miracle.
Mm-hmm.
It's this being with God that just kind of like everything's okay, And 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, you quoted that song that the more time we spend with God, the things of this world grow strangely dim. Hey, all of this stuff ties together. All this series could have been one message. They really could have. And
It really was.
And it really was. Yeah, I know. It was just one message. It's always the same. Spend more time with God. And we keep wanting to skip the spend time with God and have God do stuff for us. God, make my life better. God, fix this. God, fix this. And
We try to go from salvation to life change.
we do. And, the greatest thing about salvation is being with God. Why? I love the point of, because God's always calm. Wherever he is, there's calm. Doesn't matter. God is calm. God is secure. There's nothing that's going to make God insecure. So when we're with God, we're secure. I mean, you're just, so God is secure. God is joyful. God is peace. God is all these things. When we're with him, we experience that. Mm-hmm. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm. I've heard from quite a few people, over the years when we've talked, man, I try to pray or I don't really feel anything. You say spend time with God, but I try and I don't know, nothing really changes. But I'm not sure if you shared your story in a while about, kind of how it started for you. But I think for people watching, just go through it. Like, what did you do? Because it was, I don't think anybody has really ever done this.
I know that and I was a believer for a very short time, maybe like 2 years or so. Learned a lot about God and all that stuff. And I read a book called They Found the Secret, and it was talking about some of the heroes in the faith and how their lives were just transformed. They weren't like everybody else. And the secret was that they experienced the presence of God. And so what I did was, and I physically did this, I went into a room. It was a room in the church.
Have you ever
at the
heard
time.
this story?
I went into a room at the church, and I sat down and I started talking to God like he's right there, just talking to him. And I said, God, if you're real, I believe in you, but I've never experienced you. I want to know you. I want to feel. I want to have you saturate my being, and I want to be one with you. And I kind of told God, I'm not leaving here until I experience you. You might say feeling, but till I experience you. And I remember it was hours and hours that first day, hours in there, because my mind would sidetrack to this or that. And I'd get back. No, God, I want to experience your presence. I want your presence. And it was nobody around. It was quiet for like 6 hours. And I remember at the end, towards the end, there was this minute of unbelievable, like I felt God in my physical body. And it was like, wow, I experienced a love and a joy and a presence like I'd never experienced in my life. So I went back, not the next day, but I went back again. And I remember it took like 6 hours the first time. The second time, I want that again. God, I want you. And this was very deliberate. I mean, it took, close everything off in my life. I'm finding God. And it took like 3 hours the next day and 2.5 hours the time after that. It got to a point where I just went to the same place to experience God. And it was effort to put everything out of my mind and to experience him. But what I found, and this is what you were talking about yesterday, this residual effect, this familiarity, and it got to a place where it was an hour before I'd experience him clearing my mind. And not like you have to work up to God. I had to get all the worldly, earthly stuff out of my mind to experience the presence of a spirit, Anyway, it got down to, then it would just be 5 minutes. And even today, it's been a practice for years and years and years of mine to just sit and experience God. And over a long time, it's gotten to me where it's just in a few seconds. It could be, some days it could be 10 seconds. Some days it could be a minute. But God, we're familiar. I know you. You know me. I still need to put everything out. Mm-hmm. Just this morning, I'm spending time with God, and somebody came by with a broom, like just distracted the heck out of me. Like, okay, I need perfect quiet to experience God's presence. And there's been times that I just experienced God's presence, and I'll be honest with you, the building could fall in, the place could be on fire, and I wouldn't care. And I know
that's not irresponsibility talking. That's peace.
That is peace. There's so much value. It goes back to that song you quoted, that God is so value and so rich. Like it's like being at a seafood buffet and somebody brings up a tater tot. Hey, you want that? No, I don't care for that. Thank you. I am sitting in the midst of, crab legs and lobster tail. Like,
speaking of which,
they would just have to bring a bowl of chocolate ice cream so you could dunk your shrimp in it. That's
amen.
All it would be.
The point is,
true story.
This is the truth. The Bible talks about it. So many of your messages talk about that. God is so fulfilling. Nothing else can distract us when we're in the presence of God, because nothing compares to his presence. Is so peaceful. It's so glorious. It's so overwhelming. Nothing else matters. I know 30 years ago, it was a prayer of mine it was a goal of mine that I want to know God so well. I want to be so one with God that somebody would have to tap me on the shoulder and say, Kevin, how can you handle all this persecution? And not faking it, not trying to act. I want to be at a place in my life, and it's still a desire of mine, that I want to be at a place in my life where somebody would say, Kevin, how can you handle all that? And I honestly would say, handle what? I believe you can get to a place where you don't even notice it. Like, what? It's like being on a cruise ship and somebody is going to complain about, wow, you got a shoe that's half a size too big. Like what? I didn't even notice. I didn't notice. That was a terrible example. Wasn't it?
It was, but sorry, we got the point.
The point is, God is so...
Unless you're walking on like the boardwalk tripping.
We've been so Americanized with so much comfort, so much joy. We have been fooled. We have been deceived that the things that we create, the things we make, the recreation we have in this world is so satisfying that we choose to go after them. When we experience God, the things of this world seem so ridiculously dull. Why would we go after that when we got this? It's the banana split ice cream cone. God's a banana split. Why would you want an ice cream cone? You're sitting here, like, here,
I would want an ice cream cone.
You cannot use
don't use
God as a banana analogy for Shane.
You're indulging in a peanut butter brownie parfait, and somebody says, hey, you want a vanilla cone? No, thank you.
Do you want a banana smoothie? No.
Okay. And this isn't just religious talk. This is reality. This is God's intention for us to experience his presence so much that what you read, Paul telling the Philippian church,
Yep.
hey, listen, you go to God with a thankful heart. You bring everything to him, go to him. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will keep your heart and your mind focused on it. That you will experience the fullness of God. I mean, hey,
It's true.
before the messages, because I knew what you were going to talk about.
Yep.
At our pre-service meeting, we have a little meeting beforehand. I just really encourage everybody, which I want to encourage you right now. As you watch this message, don't listen to it for somebody else. Don't put it in, oh, I learned more. Please, please, please listen to the truth in this message. It's for all of us. It will change our lives. The presence of God in this whole stress world, it can transform us to being stressless. I mean, it's just true, and it works for everybody. There's no secret codes. It's not hard to find. You don't have to live your life a certain way. It's just truth, and God's trying to bring us the truth.
Yep.
Amen. It's just the best.
Yep.
What a great example of like a practice though, and like a consistency. Your story. The entire time you were talking about that, and other people talk about, well, I want to experience God. Well, I think of other people say, well, I want to be fit and healthy. Well, it's not going to happen in one workout.
Yeah.
That's not. It's not.
I
always-
looked at the gym. How come I didn't lose weight?
Yeah, that's not
I
always
bought
the
a
case.
machine.
Like,
It's in my basement now.
you gotta walk
Boy, do
in.
I feel good.
You gotta start working out, and then you have to stay consistent with it. So,
But I own gym shorts.
but I bought a Bible, so I don't. So yeah, but I think that is that's a great story, and maybe that's not the case for everybody. Yep. Some of us have moments where it's just instantaneous. You know what I mean? But for others, if you are coming up and saying, I've tried and I want to, like, stay with it. You know what I mean? Spend time with God consistently.
Yep.
I will add
stressless.
this, just one more thing. Our pursuit of experiencing God, we have just learned and picked up along the way, and I think Christianity's taught it too much, that we almost believe that if I want to get closer to God, so I'm going to eliminate bad things out of my life. We're fooled by that too. It's not eliminating bad things out of your life. It's going after God in this way of, I want to experience you, sit in your presence. It's what we do. It's not what we don't do. You can eliminate every sin in your life and never experience God. That's not the approach we take. And too much Christianity or religion teaches, well, if you want to be closer to God and experience God, then stop sinning. So that ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
No. Approach God. Seek after him.
Spend time with him. That's the whole point.
That's always the point.
That's literally the point.
Yep.
So that wraps it up. We got a new series starting next week.
Yep.
Entering the Christmas realm.
I have a suggestion.
Yep.
Watch all 4 messages at once. It will take, what, 2 hours?
Yeah. You watch
Just watch
an
all 4.
entire... The new season of Stranger Things comes out, and you sit down for an entire day and watch the whole thing, okay? So
You can
watch those 4 messages in a row.
If you feel stressed, honestly, if you're at a place in your life, this is the answer.
And then afterwards, go watch Make Christianity Great Again.
There you go.
There you go. Amen.
Good deal. Okay, well, that message is called Peace. That'll pop up here in a second. Like, subscribe, be back next week because we're starting a new series. Good
Peace
deal.
out.
Peace out.